Good morning from Oklahoma City. It is Super Tuesday, and Oklahoma is a state that votes on Tuesdays, which means I have a very, very full day ahead of me. I'm trying to track down some voters to talk to, kind of get a sense of where people are feeling. I'm also going to do quite a bit of touring today. It's like my big tour day, so I'm about to check out a bunch of the sites and different cool neighborhoods around Oklahoma City, so I'll take you along for that. And then tonight, I'm going to take you inside two separate watch parties. I'm going to be going to a Republican watch party that's hosted by a congressional Republican candidate. It's at a barbecue restaurant. And then I'll be taking you inside Democratic primary candidate Bernie Sanders' headquarters. They're also having a watch party. So I'm going to do a 50-50 split on both of those. See who I can talk to, and then probably round it out with just like a more casual neighborhood restaurant or bar afterwards, something that's not so politically focused, to get kind of what the more general sentiment is. Exhausted already, to be honest, but very excited. So what I'm going to do now is tour around Oklahoma City for a bit, and then go get ready, dress up a little nicer, and go. The first party's at 7. Alright guys, it is about 6:30 p.m. on Tuesday. I got dressed a little nicer than I usually dress because I'm going to two events tonight. The first one, which I'll show you in a second, is hosted by a Republican congressional candidate, so we're looking more on the Republican side of things, looking at these results and kind of that reaction and voter, which I think will be really interesting. And then in a little while, about like an hour or two, I will do the same exact thing except on the Democratic side. Alright, Super Tuesday party number 1 done. I was out in a barbecue restaurant in Oklahoma City. There were about 12-15 people there who showed up to support a Republican Congress candidate, a woman who is currently running against an incumbent Democrat. So I talked to this very interesting couple there, as well as the Congresswoman for a brief bit, kind of about what they like about what President Trump is doing, what they may not be as pleased by, what they want moving forward, and they all confirmed that they will back the president no matter what, essentially, and they like his Christian values, and they like the fact that he stands up to people and he stands up for what they believe in. They feel like that, as one woman told me, that his values match hers. It was fascinating to kind of see the Democratic primary from that eye. There was a lot of kind of astonishment. Biden just won Oklahoma, and no one in the room seemed very surprised, but they all feel very confident that President Trump would beat Biden. So, it was an interesting night for sure so far. I'm now sitting outside of a watch party that is hosted by the staff of Democratic primary candidate Bernie Sanders. I'm about to walk in, so I'm very curious to see kind of how this is going to go, as right now it's pretty contested in Texas who's going to come away with the with the win, Bernie or Joe Biden. Alright, I just got out of the second party of the evening. This one was the one hosted by Bernie Sanders' campaign office here in Oklahoma. There are about 50 people there, so at the peak, including 3 news organizations, which I thought was kind of interesting, as there weren't any that I saw at the previous Republican event I was at. But there are a couple of things I want to talk about. Biggest concerns for Bernie voters that I talked to were getting money out of politics, income inequality, healthcare, and the phrase that kept coming up over and over again was corporate greed. So it's something kind of what is going on their minds. The other thing that was interesting was I was told and heard multiple times that they wouldn't consider another candidate for president, that if Bernie doesn't win the nomination, they won't vote or they'll vote third party, and that they did the same thing in 2016. So this is definitely a passionate group of voters. that candidate Bernie Sanders inspires. So, just kind of the feet on the ground right now in Oklahoma. I am now on my way to my third event of the night. I'm just going to go to kind of a standard neighborhood bar. Hopefully someone will be playing the election coverage, and I'm going to get kind of a less politicized perspective on the results. I'm interested in hearing what someone who may not be motivated to go to an event like the two I've been to already this evening, what they think and how they feel about what's coming in, and especially while we're waiting to see what happens in Texas, which is right next door to Oklahoma, and in California. Good morning. Happy day after Super Tuesday. I am just getting up and going for the day, but I wanted to talk about where I went last night. I went to two separate neighborhood bars, both for just a drink, to kind of see what the discussion was about the results, or if there was any discussion at all. And I think the most telling thing was that no one was talking about it. No one was talking about it. No one cared. People said, oh, that was today, or yeah, I'll vote in the election, I guess, or like, we just would avoid it completely. And I think that's interesting because I think it speaks to engagement in our civic system, but also I think it really shows how exhausted people are by politics. I had one person tell me that it didn't matter because Oklahoma was a red state, so voting any other way was useless. And it's that attitude on either side, from Democrats in these red states or from Republicans in blue states, that really encourages a continuation of status quo, because when people feel their voice is not worth anything, there is really no motivation to use it, when the reality is you should use your voice because it's your right. But I thought the most interesting thing coming from those two events was that I walked into the bar and the news wasn't even on. It was on the History Channel, and people were playing pool and playing darts, and it was like a normal Tuesday, like nothing had ever happened. So, just a curiosity. I'm heading over to Olustee, Oklahoma today. It's a little off the trail, but I will follow Route 66 down to Sayre and then bump down. I know a couple people in Olustee, so I'm going to spend a couple days staying with them. They were kind enough to offer, and then it'll be back up and on to Texas. So I'm very excited.